Hey everybody, this is JacqBean back with another episode of Fear the Walking Dead. This is going to be episode 5, More Time Than You Know. And we're getting really close. So I think next week will be the last episode for, the mid-season cliffhanger. And it'll also be the first episode of Maggie and Negan series, Dead City. So we'll get both the finale of Fear the Walking Dead and the beginning, the first premiere episode of Dead City. Exciting times. So let's get to reviewing this episode. So the video starts off where we left off the last episode. Morgan and Grace and Mo, along with Dwight and his family, in the boat. They're really just trying to get her to June, or more so trying to get her to that train so that June can use the same procedure that she did when Finch was bitten. They used the radiation, and it seemed that he was okay, and he did look okay while he was inside the boat with those guys. But of course, as they're trying to, they're getting with June just to kind of find out where the train is so that they can get Grace there. Of course, Shrike just pipes on in, and it's like, do you think we left it where it was? Why would you think we have it on wheels if we're just pretty much saying that they're not going to find it because they moved the train? And of course, Morgan is going to want to do anything, because that's what P.A.D.R.E does. They find that thing to hold over you. And at this point, now it's that they know that Mo as well, but that Morgan wants Grace to live. He wants to see if they can make her better. And so, of course, he's like, well, what do you want me to do? What should I do? And she wants him to go to that shipyard where all of those ship containers was, with over 1,000 carry-on, and she wants them to kill them, which they were like, oh, cool, we could totally do that. But of course she's like, no, I don't want it by guns or nothing that needs ammo, because it's fertilizer in there. All these things are important to us moving forward, so you'd have to kill them by hand. And although they are good and they probably could do that, that's not what they want to do. And it's definitely not what Dwight and Sherry would want to do. They're trying to help Morgan to get this done, because in the end they think that it'll help them to let them keep Finch without any issues. So it really looks like it's something that they're not going to help Morgan with, because they're not going to be able to help them. Nobody's going to run in there and try to kill thousands of walkers. But I really think the biggest gist of this episode was that they were their family. They want to spend time with the family. Grace starts to wake up, and she knows that this is more than likely just a waste of time. She has the cancer as well, and although they figured that because she had cancer and she, due to radiation, that no matter how high the radiation was they gave her body, she would still probably be okay because she had the cancer. But she really wasn't looking for that. She had made a little setup that she wanted them to take her to, and her and Morgan and Grace, and she wanted Grace to see it. It was a place that could be like home. She wanted to enjoy every minute that she had left with her family. However, they more so just want her to be okay. So, she's going in and out, and she wants them to she gives them the addresses of place she wants them to take her, but they gonna do something else. They're gonna try to get her to that train, because for them, it's the most important. At one point while they were sitting there, they started to see that Finch was getting hot. He was getting sick. And ultimately, when they got in touch with June, this was before she had got a chance to see him, what she's realized is that it didn't cure him. The radiation wasn't enough. It was enough to make him okay for a little while, but he's starting to get sick again. And then, so there you have this thing. You have Grace and you have Finch. You have two sets of parents. You have a set of parents and a family, and they are, trying to make sure that their people are okay. They want them to be okay. So, with Finch being such a little boy, they say, okay, let's take him to that address where Grace wanted them to go, and June would come there to see how Finch was doing, and Morgan and Mo would continue to get Grace to the train, and June was like, either I'll get there or I can walk you through what to do once you get her there. So let's stay with Dwight and Finch and their family. They get to this place, that outpost that Grace had kind of been keeping up for P.A.D.R.E. But they realize that in the back room, when they go into this back room, it's just like a little room. It's all set up. It has this bed and magazines. It's like a kid's room. That's why she really wanted Morgan and Mo and her to go to this outpost, because in the time that they had together, they could spend as a little family, and Mo would have a chance to really kind of grow up in a room like a kid would grow up in. Of course, without cable and an Xbox, but she didn't know anything about that in the first place. So they're in there with Finch. June finally gets there and tells them exactly what we had spoke about earlier in the video, that it wasn't enough radiation. At this point, I don't think they'll know what they're going to do with Finch, and the story ended this week without coming to a conclusion on that. But when Dwight and Sherry moved to go and take Finch to the outpost, Morgan and Mo decided they were going to move forward with getting Grace to the train. And at one point, they knew that P.A.D.R.E would be after them, that the prefects were going to be the people that kind of gone after them. Morgan decided to be the distraction, and he told Mo to get Grace to the train, which he was absolutely willing to do. Again, Grace is saying, please, let's just go to the outpost. Let's just spend as much time as we have together. Let's not waste time. But on deaf ears, they really wanted her to be better more than anything. They could make that up once she was all better. And we next see Mo and Grace on a handcar, one of those seesaw kind of cars that ride up and down the train tracks. And they bump into, I guess bump is the best, wasn't the best word, but they get kind of ambushed by the prefects, Dove and all of the rest of those guys. Like, you can't get past. Mo's like, they're not going to hurt me. And, they can't be near their parents. I have a chance to help my parent. They're not going to see me not be able to get through. And they didn't. They definitely allowed her to go through, but she also wasn't stopping either. And she got to the train, and she got Grace into the train as well. Once Grace was on the gurney, she walkie-talkied over to June to ask her what to do, and June did give her the instructions. It was a high dose of radiation, but she told her where to put it and where, to execute it so that she would have that, and told her that she would start to lose the fever if it was working. Grace told her a wonderful story, and I actually don't know if it was at this point or it was a little later, but it just makes me think about it. And she was telling Mo how she saved them. She saved them because she and Morgan were going to kill themselves. They want to kill themselves. They were right on the edge. They showed a little flashback that showed it, and then they heard her crying. They heard a baby cry, and it was Mo. And when they realized, what her parents had done in order for her to stay alive, they took her and it gave them a reason to live. So, I mean, she is saying that Mo literally saved them. They would be dead. And I think this was something that really touched Mo as well. You could tell just all during this time that, through her expression, that she's just becoming closer and wanting more and more to be with Morgan and Grace. And then they started to see walkers start to come up to the window, because even though the prefects didn't stop them from moving forward, they kind of lit off the flares, the firecrackers, whatever they shot in the air, whatever it is that they do. So walkers were starting to surround the train car. Mo starts to realize that Grace's fever isn't going down. She's hotter than ever, and she's talking to June on the walkie, and she's like, "Let's do some more." June understands that that's just a waste of time, and so does Grace. But Mo is she's adamant. She just wants to see her be okay. She's starting to get feelings, so she's loving this person that's laying there. But she does also talk with Morgan on the walkie, and, Morgan's like, "Well, we tried, So he wanted to speak to Grace. He wanted to let her know that, that he loved her and that he might not be there. He's trying to get there. He's not really worried about the prefects, but he's trying to get through so he can get to that train in time. But he doesn't believe that he will get there in time, and he wanted her to know that he loved her. And I think that had an effect on Mo too. Like, you're seeing these two people that are your parents, that you didn't know that this is how child act with their parents, or the way parents go to surround themselves and protect their own children. And she's kind of getting all these emotions. All these emotions are stirring up in her. Grace was letting Mo know that, if she died, or when she died, and Morgan wasn't there, that she needed to put her down. So it's really like this whole Dwayne and Jenny thing one more time, just saying that when I die, the people that love me should be the people that put me down, not let me walk around as a walker. And Mo's like, of course I can do that, But when she died, she couldn't do it. She's fighting her and pushing her away and all these kind of things, but she won't take the knife and put her down. And at one point, it even flips out of her hand, so it's on the floor. She can't reach it. She's starting to come to her or get close enough to go for that bite, and Morgan just kind of comes there in enough time to put her down. So there's my Morgan. He had to just put down Dwayne finally, and he had put down Jenny before, but he had to go and bury those folks, and now it's one more. And of course, as they walk out of there, they run into Shrike and her minions. And Morgan just wants to take Grace and just bury her, just lay her to rest. And Shrike still continues to bring up this conversation about how this is the kind of thing they wanted to take away from the children. They didn't want children to ever feel the kind of pain they feel from losing a parent. And you know what? Mo fell right into that. She got it. She got what P.A.D.R.E was trying to do, because that hurt. It hurt her that that Grace is gone, and that Morgan is feeling the pain that he feels. So she kind of put it in her head that they could go, the prefects, these children, they could go and get rid of these walkers or the carry-on that are in the shipyard. And she's like, we can do that, can't we, Dove? We can get together, we can do it. And they agreed that they could do it, and they went walking on. And Morgan was horrified. He doesn't want them in there. People with loads and loads of experience wouldn't be able to take down that kind of a group. And so how is it that they're going to be able to do it? And they don't want them to do it with any guns, because they don't want to lose any of the things inside the shipping containers. gets a pretty good fight in there, but he's overpowered because Morgan won't kill people. So they were able to get him back down. They then put him back in the train car, and Shrike told them to lock it down. So we have this train car that's all locked down. They shoot up in the air, so as it ends, we got Morgan locked into a train car that's going to be completely covered and surrounded by walkers. And his stick is still outside, and even the I think it looks like it was an axe that apparently was the one he used when he was trying to get out of P.A.D.R.E with him when he was with Madison. And they put them both on the ground, or Shrike put them both on the ground, and then she started going behind the prefects as they started to move towards the shipyard to fight with these carrion. Thousands and thousands of carrion. And that was pretty much how the episode ended this week. So there you have it. A minor recap of the things that happened during the episodes. R.I.P. to Grace, who is the first, I guess, main character to die within this season. The next week is going to be the last episode, the mid-season finale. And I can imagine that there's going to be a couple of things that Morgan is going to get out of there. He's going to be able to get his stick and his axe. It's probably Daniel and Madison that are going to be able to find them. I'm sure that June is in contact with them, and maybe they will come out of that way to get Morgan, so that they can start to get themselves together and go after P.A.D.R.E. I'm definitely going to want to see how Morgan kind of takes all of this in. It's always very scary with Morgan because he went through so much. When that happened to Jenny, when it happened to Dwayne, and now, of course, it's happened to Grace, and Mo is off to the moon. She wants to suppress those hormones. She don't want to feel the way she has been feeling. Having parents and people that love you don't feel good when something goes wrong. But we'll see. I really think that the next episode is going to be more about the headspace of the team, especially Morgan, as they go to move. I can't imagine that they'll start the fighting next week, or maybe just start the fight and then leave you in the cliffhanger with that stuff. Hopefully the episode will be a little bit more than an hour, so that we can kind of get some good stuff in there. Let me know what you think. You can put your comments below. And if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe and hit that notification button so that you'll know when I post. I am going to make it very much my business to post both shows by Monday, as I'm looking forward to both the mid-season finale and the beginning of the new Dead City. So until then,